Thinking of learning as a preparation for something beyond learning is a defeat of the process. The most important attitude is that of desire to go on learning and upgrading yourselves. Hey, this is Khyati and I welcome you to Grey Edge. Revit is a building design software for every phase of your project, from concept to visualization. This enables us for practicing BIM, that is Building Information Modeling. Revit is a parametric software reflecting the changes done in a view to all the other views, thus freeing us from the tedious and repetitive work. And hence, we can focus on the work that we are best in. In continuity with the last year, where we had learned the key new features in Revit Arc 2019, this year too our video focuses on the key new features that are introduced in Revit Arc 2020. So let's have a look on the features listed here. So we start with the cloud models, PDF Underlay, path of travel, schedule scope boxes, create elliptical walls, copy legend views across sheets, and material improvements. So let's start with the very first feature, that is cloud models. BIM 360 is a program that connects your team and data in real time from design through construction, further supporting decision making, leading to more predictable and profitable outcomes. Constant efforts are being taken to better integrate Revit and BIM 360. In Revit 2020, there is an update to provide consistent creation and access for workshed and non-workshed cloud models. So yes, now in BIM 360 design, that is in BIM 360 design, users can create the worksets in Revit, and further they can simply go to the File tab, Save As, and then save as the cloud model to initiate the workshed cloud model. So yes, now from the Revit directly we can save our cloud model and initiate a workshed cloud model. Additionally, when we just go to the home page by clicking on this icon in the quick access toolbar, so yes, we can just come into the home page here. The cloud model browser can be used to access the cloud model saved in the BIM 360 document management. That is, these are the projects that are saved in the BIM 360 docs, and now we can just access them through Revit. So you can see this is a project which is created in BIM 360 docs, and in this project there are some files which can be viewed from Revit also. So this is a great integration of Revit and BIM 360. The next new feature that has been introduced in Revit Arc 2020 is the PDF Underlay. We can now import the PDF in a 2D view, and the PDF is placed in the current view only, similar to the previous image functionality. This really helps a lot as we know how much data resides in a PDF. So let's get started with the understanding of how we can import the PDF. So I'll just go to the Insert tab, Import Panel, PDF, select the PDF that we need to import, click on Open, and now you can see all the pages that are there in the PDF as it's a multi-page PDF. Select the page that you want to insert here, and at the bottom you have the option for the resolution. That is, we can select the resolution of the PDF that we want to insert here. So select the dots per inches resolution here and just click on OK and place the PDF. The selected page is placed over here in this particular view. Now when we just place this PDF is not up to the scale. That is, the dimensions or the sizes which should be created are not according to the scale. So we need to scale this PDF first. So yes, before starting to trace this PDF, we need to scale it through the normal scale option. Further, This PDF can be a raster or a vector PDF. If it's a vector PDF, we can just select it, go to the ribbon, and over here under image panel we have the option enable snaps. So this will enable the snaps for the PDF, and now we can simply go to any command, that is, say I am going to the wall command. I'll use pick line tool and I can simply pick the lines of the PDF. That is, I'm just clicking over here to pick these lines, and you can see the wall is created on this line. So yes, I can simply pick the lines if I just use the snap option. So this is really going to help us to trace our PDFs and quickly create our designs using this particular PDF as a reference. Initially we just had the CAD drawings which we could use as reference, and now yes, the PDFs also can be used as a reference. So this is a great functionality that has been added here. The next new feature is quite exciting and unique update in Revit 2020. Calculating the path of travel was once a tedious and annoying task. There was no way to automatically calculate the total length of chain lines. The new path of travel feature allows us to choose the start and the end point of the place that you want, and then automatically calculates the shortest path between the 2 points. So let's get started in action. So to create the path of travel line, I'll just go to the Analyze tab, Route Analysis panel, Path of Travel, and I just have to click for the start point, then click for the end point, and yes, what we see here is the path of travel line is automatically created to fit in the walls and the doors. That is, this path of travel line is creating, or you can say detecting, the walls, the doors automatically and creating the shortest path to reach from point 1 to point 2. Yes. Now further, when I just select the path of travel line here, in the instance property we have the line style, which is by default selected as a new line type which is introduced in Revit 2020, that is path of travel lines. But of course we can just go to the drop down and change it to, say, maybe hidden lines, and this will change the line type of the path of travel lines. So yes, we can now change the line type to for the path of travel lines. Further, if you just check the properties, you can see the length of this particular line and also the time to reach from point 1 to point 2. Further, to tag this particular path of travel line, I'll just go to the Annotate tab and over here tag by category, and I'll just tag this path of travel line here. So yes, now this path can also be tagged with whichever parameter we want. Right now it's getting tagged with the length and the time. Further, there's one more functionality that can be used for the path of travel lines. That is, let's add an object to obstruct this particular path. That is, I'll just select this element here, I'll create similar and place an element which is obstructing this particular path. The path does not change automatically, of course, but we can just select the path and there is an update option in the ribbon and I can just click on that. So yes, now you saw that this path which was just going through this table is now changing its path as it's an obstruction and has changed the path to just go away from this particular element, and it has created a new route. Of course the length, okay, the tag is moved here, I'll just shift it over here. So now the tag of course is changed where the length is changed and also the time is changed as it's just changed its path. So yes, now we can also tag it We can just change the path by using the update option in the ribbon. Further, yes, of course, a very important thing that we can even create a schedule for path of travel. So to create a schedule for path of travel, we can simply go to the View tab, Schedules, Schedule and Quantities, and in the categories we have the option that is path of travel lines. So yes, this has been added into the categories and we can simply create a schedule of this. We can rename it if we don't want this. And yeah, further we can just add the fields that are needed. That is, I'm just adding, say, maybe the length, the time, the speed. We can also add level as needed. And yes, now we can see that the path of travel line can be scheduled too. So we can create path of travel lines, we can tag it, and also we can schedule it. Further, when I just go to the Analyze tab, Route Analysis panel, and under the Route Analysis settings here, we get a list of route analysis settings. So this is a list of the categories that we have to click on to not add into the obstacle. That is, say example, the door is added, so the door is not considered as an obstacle for the path of travel line. So if I want to add any category which should not be considered as an obstacle, we can just click on that. So that particular category will not be considered as an obstacle for the path of travel line. Further, at the bottom we have Analysis Zone and Plan. So what's this? The Analysis Zone and Plan, yeah, here it just specifies the height interval in which the elements will be used in travel path calculations. That means the elements above or below this range won't affect the path. That is the range which is specified right now. For the top is 2032 and for the bottom is 203.2 by default. The objects which are above or below this will not be considered as an obstacle. So yes, we can just edit this. So yeah, that was all about the path of travel lines. So this is a great feature for calculating the length and the time, which was a tedious task before 2020. Revit 2020 gives a simple yet useful enhancement functionality when it comes to scope box. The scope box parameter can now be scheduled in a view list. This allows the user to understand whether a scope box has been applied to a view, and if yes, so which one. In the previous version, that is in the previous functionality of Revit 2019, we saw that if we need to apply a scope box in a particular view, we just go to the instance property in the view properties, basically on the right here, and over here under the scope box option we just select the scope box which are created already. So I'm just selecting, say, maybe the workstation 1. So yes, your view gets cropped around the scope box which was just created. So this is a good feature, of course, but this would be too long process when there are a lot of views. So now there's an easier and a much better way which is introduced in Revit 2020. So we can add scope boxes in the view list now. So when I just go to the view list under the schedule and quantities, so over here we can see the view name is added and the scope box is already added as a field. So yes, in the view list properties we can now add the scope box and it can be scheduled here in the view list. So here we can get a clear idea that on which view which scope box is applied. So as we saw now, just now we just added the scope box for level 1 as workstation 1, so we can see here. Now say maybe for level 2 I don't want workstation 1 but I want workstation 2. So I'll just change that to, say, maybe workstation 2. So through the view list also we can simply apply the scope box. We do not need to go into the floor plan. We'll just apply the scope box from the view list, and when we go to the level 2 we can see it's already applied, that the scope box is already applied as workstation 2. So yes, this is a great functionality that we can add these scope boxes in the view list, and through that we can just analyze on which view which scope box is applied, and if it's not applied we can simply apply it through the view list. The next feature that is introduced in Revit 2020 is relevant to much more day-to-day objects. We know that wall is a tool that we use very frequently in Revit architecture. Previously, till Revit 2019, there was no direct way to create an elliptical wall. The only workaround to create an elliptical wall was to create an elliptical mass and then use wall by face option to place the wall on it. A sloppy and an inefficient method for a simple task. Now in Revit 2020, if I just go to the wall command, that is wall architectural, in the draw tools you can see that the ellipse tool is now added directly to the draw tools. So I can simply click the ellipse tool over here. I can select my wall type that I need, specify the options, and directly create an elliptical wall. Yeah, so you can see the elliptical wall is just created. Yeah, I'll just try with the curtain wall too, and now I'll try a curtain wall to be just created. So yes, the curtain wall is also created. So I can simply create elliptical walls by just using the ellipse option, which is added in the draw tools over here, which is directly added to the wall tool. So creating complex elliptical geometry using walls and curtain walls is now no more a tedious task. So it's very simple. I can simply use the draw tools and create the elliptical walls. As they say, work smarter when needed and not hard. This perfectly applies to the next feature that I'm going to introduce. First, let me give you a brief about the legend, as the next feature is related to the legends that we use in Revit architecture. Legend view is a list of model components and annotations used in a project. This is a logical representation of the elements relatively or relevantly used in project. So here you can see this is a legend view which is already being created here. Now in the previous version, if I want to use this wall legend in number of sheets, we used to simply go to the sheets, select the legend view, drag and drop and arrange the legend at the same place in all the sheets. Now this used to take a lot of time when there are a lot of sheets. Say maybe if I want to drag the same legend, same typical legend in say maybe 50 sheets, I have to drag and drop and I have to arrange the view title, etc., which takes a long time. Now I can simply do that, like I am just going to the first sheet and I'm just dragging the wall legend here and I'm just arranging it however I need it. Arrange the scale that you need. Say maybe I want 1:25 and I'm just arranging it according to the scale also. The view title also I'm arranging here. Now the same legend or the same typical legend I want for all the sheets. So in 2020 I can just select the legend, click on copy to clipboard or Ctrl C, go to paste options and click on align to selected views. Now it gives me a list of all the views here, that is the sheets, and I can just select the sheets that I want to copy. I'll click on OK. Now when I just check, you can see the legend view is copied in all the sheets at the same place and in the same scale. So this has saved a lot of time. I can simply select all the 50 sheets at a time and it simply saves a lot of time to copy all those particular wall legends in the sheets. So this is really a very good option which can help us work productively. Materials represent the realistic appearance and behavior as actuals. Creating and applying the materials or finishes to the objects is the core part of visualization. So the next feature that is introduced in Revit 2020 sounds quite exciting as it is related to the material browser. So let's have a look on some enhancements that are added into the material browser. So I just go to the material browser here. So the very first enhancement that is improved here is the material browser. In the material browser is the new material library icon, which is now much more visible. I can simply click on this and just access my material library. This icon was not very much visible and it was quite confusing to go to the material library now, and yes, now it's quite easy. The icon is much more visible and I can just click and go to the material library. Further, the next enhancement is the filter option, which is now added here to the material browser, where I can filter my materials through class. So yes, I can simply select the class here and my material browser just filters the materials related to that particular class. Like I am just selected masonry and I have the materials related to the masonry class. So yes, from here I can simply filter my materials by just clicking on the filter option, select the class, and I'm having the materials filtered very quickly. Further, the next enhancement that is added in the material browser is in the appearance tab over here. I'm just going to replace this asset, and in the appearance library, when we just go to any category, we have some assets visibility here. So the icons which were there in the previous versions were too small. To change the size of the thumbnails, we just go to this icon that is changes your view, and there are thumbnail sizes here. So till the previous versions we had 16 by 16, 24 by 24, 32 by 32 and 64 by 64. So 64 by 64 was the largest thumbnail size that was there till Revit 2019. Now in 2020 we also have 256 by 256. So yes, we have enlarged thumbnails through which we can see our materials in much more realistic way. This is a very good enhancement for people who love to work in large thumbnails. So yes, this is also one enhancement that is related to the material browser. So these are some enhancements which can be used to make the material browser much more interesting and much more easier and much more realistic, of course. So that was all about the key new features in Revit 2020. Well, I hope you find the content informative. Please stay tuned to get updated with all such content, as an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. With this thought, this is Khyati thanking you for listening to me, and have a nice day.